everybody, and welcome to the LAIR. My name is Caleb. I'm one of the youth pastors at a youth ministry called True Life in Everett, Washington. And you know what? We are gathered together. This is our podcast. Welcome to the LAIR. That's where we're shooting this, and we're going to tell some stories, talk about some life, things like that. This is our first episode, though, ever. We'll see if there's a second. Hopefully, we're just making this work. We're figuring this out. But my name's Caleb. You guys will see me here almost every single week. And then we got a lot of awesome people that are jumping on and joining us every single week to be able to talk about life, talk about faith, to share some stories, and just have some fun. So we hope that you guys enjoy your time in the LAIR. But right now, we're going to kick it off. We're going to get started by finding out who do we got with us today. So right here to my right, we got Jacob Davis, a.k.a. Big Cat, in the house, hanging out.
Know what it is.
We got right here Pastor Lexy joining us.
Pastor is my first name. Lexi is my last name. It's Pastor Lexy.
First name Pastor, last name Lexy. And then we got Kennedy Kane.
Forgot my name for a sec.
No, I didn't. I was trying to figure
Karen
out.
King.
I was like,
Karen.
could we do like a really cool like title? And I was like, Kennedy the King. And I was like, I don't know. I just, we're
had
starting
a substitute.
strong.
We had this reoccurring substitute throughout the Marysville school system, and every time he was my substitute, I don't know if he would remember me, but he'd go, Kennedy Queen, whenever he'd call announcement. Like, whenever he'd do, like,
That sounds like something
attendance.
a substitute teacher would say.
You
Oh
know,
my
I know,
goodness.
He's the one that wore the little hat, the little Italian
Yes. Oh my gosh. And he was he was an Italian guy.
Yeah,
If you went to Marysville, you know this guy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I always wanted to call him like Mr. Giudice or something. He was like very Italian. He was very Italian.
Went
And
to
he
my-
wore this tiny hat. He was awesome.
Went
Oh
to
my
West
gosh.
Winfred Meyer buying, like, 46 bottles of Coke. It was awesome.
All right, well, hey, here on the LAIR, exactly what's happening right now is what we always want it to be. It's a time for us to gather in community, to talk, share some stories, have some laughs, and y'all get to join along with us. But first, every single week, we actually just started it. We just want to have some fun together, talk about our weeks, what's been going on. Now, really quick, to you three, you guys got anything fun, anything interesting, any big announcements that have been happening recently?
I just posted this past week, but Steven and I are having baby number 2, which is awesome. So we're going to be having another baby in October. But here's the thing. Kennedy did not know this. So just a couple weeks ago, we went on a trip with some of us here and some of our other leaders to Coeur d'Alene, and we were out to dinner at Texas Roadhouse. And we were sitting there, and Kennedy said, I actually have a video. Come find me at church one day and ask to see this video. I recorded it. Kennedy said, if you have another baby this year, I will be a night nanny. I will watch your baby all night so you can get sleep. I've got video evidence. So my night nanny, Kennedy King, is right here.
And I was thinking about it on Sunday when Stephen was like, yeah, Lexi told me that we have a video of you. And I was like, I should have known when you saw that baby across the restaurant and you were like, I'm literally going to cry. I was like, okay, mom
Yes,
vibes.
there was a really cute baby at this restaurant. And I was like, he was just the cutest thing. I literally started tearing up.
I should have known.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my
What did I get
goodness.
myself into?
All right, well, we got a big announcement. That's amazing. That's awesome. Jacob, did you have anything happen this week? Anything happen recently?
I forgot to turn in my homework last week. That's the big thing I did.
Wow.
Very
That's all
cool.
I got. Yeah, I got nothing exciting this week.
Okay, no worries, no stress. Kennedy, other than finding out you have a new job, you have anything happen this week?
Night job. I work at 5 in the morning. I'm going to have to go straight from your house to another nanny job. I got me some new Crocs.
Nice.
That's the highlight of my week. I actually went in there only to get these, and then I walked out with 2 pairs.
Ask her what size shoe she wears, though.
Yeah, these are a 3 in kids. So it's fine. I get 2 Crocs for the price of 1 adult Croc, so it's fine. And also, I may have ordered 100 gibbets. So if you see me with gibbets in
What
every
are
single
they?
hole, you know the little things that
Those
you
are
can
gibbets
put on the
you
top?
put in the holes, like
Those
charms.
little shape
Oh.
things. I ordered 100 of them. So if you see my Crocs with every single hole filled,
You don't even have 100 holes
there
in
you
your
go.
shoes.
Yeah, there's 13 on each shoe.
Wow.
Just
Every day.
in case you guys are
I
wondering.
have
For
a pair
a
of
year,
Crocs.
just looks different.
Trivia of the day, there's 13 holes on the top of every Croc.
Wow.
Thank you.
There we go. Guys, we learned stuff on the LAIR. But
how
right
you
now,
know.
we also want to talk about some stuff that's going on in True Life, some things that we got going down that we're going to be diving into and talking more about. Last night, we had a one night we were talking about and celebrating the past, some amazing things that have happened in the past with True Life, but we're also looking forward and excited. If you guys didn't know, you might be like, man, why is Lexy here? Because Lexy's actually getting
I got booted.
She's getting to step into some awesome and amazing things, still at BCA, still a part of our church, getting to help actually lead not just in youth, but also leading with our families through kids and nursery and so many different areas, which is so amazing, and still is a part of our True Life family. That's why she's jumping on. She's with us in the LAIR for the first one.
I'm diehard True Life for life.
There we go. But we also are getting to be excited looking forward to what God has for us and just some things that we feel like the Lord's put on our heart. And one of those things is the next series that we are diving into. And actually, I would just love for us to talk about the concept of this series for just a couple of minutes. If you guys don't know what it is, we're going to be diving into a collection of talks for, I believe, 5 weeks. And it's going to be called The Arrival. And The Arrival is talking all about how when Jesus arrives in our lives, everything's changed. Everything is different. There's the opportunity for us to step out different and change and to recognize, man, I got Jesus with me now. And really, you guys are going to see on social media, on Instagram, on our Wednesday night live streams, all that stuff, that we're using this analogy of kind of the moon landing. Not kind of. I mean, I guess we don't know if it's real. Like,
I was just about to say, we might have some moon landing conspiracy theorists watching this video.
So we'll say
I know a couple.
the concept of the moon landing, or pretty
Yes.
soon, I guess, the Mars landing if Elon Musk gets his way. But
True.
how when we landed on the moon, it changed everything. There was a difference. The reality, the expectation, people's thoughts about what was possible changed forever. And in the same way, when Jesus arrives in our lives, everything's changed. The possibilities are extremely different because now we have Christ with us, God on our side. And so, you guys, I want to talk about this just for a minute. When you guys hear about this series, hear about this topic, we haven't talked a ton about it. At this point, we're filming this a couple weeks in advance. But what are some of your first thoughts when you think about Jesus arriving in our lives or arriving in a young person, somebody who's a student's life?
I think something that I think of, like, when you think about, the moon landing or the possibility of, going to Mars or these different things, it's like, I always think of, it's like uncharted territory. Like, it's stuff that people haven't done before. And so it's exciting and it's new. And I think sometimes when we think about, like, being Christians or, like, being followers of Jesus, we don't think about it as, like, new or exciting or, like, uncharted territory. It's kind of just like, oh, yeah, like, maybe I go to church or, I read my Bible every once in a while or whatever. But actually, like, having that mentality, that heart of, like, no, when Jesus shows up, like, it does change everything. And, like, the adventure of my life. Like, I think about, I gave my life to Christ like 9 years ago, and I never could have imagined the different things that God, has the doors that he's opened for me, or things that I've been able to be a part of, visiting different countries on missions trips and just all this different stuff that I would have never expected. That was all because of, God arriving in my life and kind of going to that uncharted territory. So that's something that I kind of think of as, like, it's just exciting to follow Jesus because there's always a new place to go that we don't know about that's going to be way better than we could have expected.
I think it's exciting for me, just like, I think it's just a really just like topic that we can often just like take for granted a lot, where we just like, we know it happens in our life, but we can be like, okay, like, what next? We can just forget that arriving on that point is the most important thing. Like Caleb said, like with the moon landing, like when they landed on the moon, that was a important step in their walk. And for us, that's the same thing. Meeting Jesus for that first time is one of the most important times that we can experience. And I think that oftentimes we can forget that in our faith. And on the other side of it, I think revival is something that we've been talking about as a ministry for a while, and just like pursuing in the future. And I think revival is the other step of it, on how we arrive in our lives, but how can we arrive in other people's lives also?
That's so good.
And how can
That's
Jesus
so good.
arrive in other places? And I think, that's such a good topic.
Yeah.
Totally. Kenny, do you have any thoughts you want to add?
I'm honestly blank-minded right now. So
That's totally
She's
fine.
just so blown away
I'm just-
by the message
wow.
Pastor Jacob just go over there. She can't even talk right now.
No, that's totally good. That's totally good. Kennedy's just excited to dive into the 5 weeks of this series, right?
Woo-hoo-hoo! See, that's how I feel.
But with this series, I think the one other thing that I'm starting to think about, I can't imagine what that's about to sound like when people are listening back right now.
I was thinking about that too. Warning.
I would try to do it, but I'm losing my
users.
voice. It wouldn't even come out.
No, but as we're talking through this, one of the things that I think it's making me think a lot about is just the reality that when Jesus arrives in our life, and we use this imagery of like the moon landing, or I guess we use the Mars landing when that happens one day, or things like that. It's going to happen at this point. I have some faith in Elon Musk right now, actually. If anybody's going to do it. No, but this idea that those astronauts, the people that have gone up to the moon, they had to go on a journey to get there. Mm-hmm. And in our analogy, it's that those astronauts landing on the moon is like Jesus. We're the moon, and Jesus is arriving in our lives. Jesus has gone through a journey to be able to arrive in our lives. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jesus doesn't just say, now you go on a journey. Jesus actually went on a long journey. God went on a journey so that he could have a personal relationship with each and every one of us. You know, when we look back in Scripture, we see that the story is that of God trying to fight to get back with humanity. And so a part of this story that I hope that while we're going through the series that you guys realize is not just that Jesus arrives in your life and now it's like, okay, Jesus did his easy part. And then now I'm supposed to go that's how you talk. And now I'm supposed to go do all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Jesus has done so much already. Yeah. And now he's excited to go with you on the rest of the journey. When he arrives, he doesn't just arrive and say, now I'm going to just like boot you out and you got to go. No, he arrives and he says, now let's go together. Yeah. And so that's what this series is going to be. We're going to be hearing from myself. I'll be preaching a couple weeks of this series. Sierra is going to be sharing from one of the messages, which is going to be awesome. Yeah. And then also we got Pastor Kyle sharing from one of them. And it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a good series. In person, online, no matter what, we're making it a great experience for y'all to be able to jump in with us. Now, we've gotten to talk a little bit about this series, what's going to be happening with that. We also got something that we're going to be talking a whole lot about for the next few months that we're bringing back this summer. It's starting up the end of July, starting in August, but we got to start talking about it now, and that's student leadership.
Woo! Yeah.
And so the great thing right now is we got two people who have done a lot of student leadership here at True Life and now are interns with us. But we also got Pastor Lexy who helped head up student leadership in the past. And then there's like me sitting here and I'm going to be helping head it up going this summer. But really quick, y'all, we got people maybe watching this who are interested in something like student leadership or they want to know what it's like. I think the best way to learn about this stuff isn't to see a sheet of paper, but it's actually to be able to look at it and be like, man, what are some of the experiences, some of the stories that we might have out of it? So what are some stories from student leadership in the past? They can be fun, but also how has it been beneficial?
Okay, I have one of my favorite stories from student leadership. This is so bad, but we were at the church, I think it was like a Thursday, and we wanted to play, oh gosh, what's it called? It's like sardines, I think, or something. It's like a hide and seek game, basically. So you could hide anywhere in the church, and then you would walk around with flashlights and try to find people. And at the time, there was this room, it was almost kind of in an attic that you could get up into. And up in that same wing of the church was Chuck, who was a counselor on staff at our church. And while we're playing this game, there were two students that climbed up in this room, and they're hiding, and they're like whispering back and forth to each other, trying not to be found. Well, Pastor Chuck was counseling somebody who struggled with hearing voices. And so this person, during the counseling session, starts freaking out and telling Chuck they think they're hearing voices. So Chuck comes running out, and he's like, where are these voices coming from? And I had to go try to find these students. I'm like, get out of that room.
No.
Yes. So yeah, we got in a little bit of trouble for that one. But honestly, those are some of my favorite memories with student leadership because it's structured and there's really good stuff to dive into and diving into the Bible together and growing in your faith. But it's also just fun being at the church in the summer. There's really not like anybody else here, so we kind of just run around the church and just have a blast. Those are some of my favorite True Life memories. So it's a blast getting to hang out, and you meet people that maybe you would have never hung out with before. I think that's the other thing I loved is seeing students who I had never seen interact on a Wednesday before. And then by the end of the summer, they're like best friends. And so, even still to this day, there's students who I'm super close with that I got to know through student leadership. So it's just a great opportunity to be in community and have a lot of fun. So
very cool.
Yeah. One thing that when I think of student leadership, I think of like summer days at the church. And I loved obviously the practical point of like growing in our faith, but also I remember every day, I don't know if you went with us, but we didn't drive at the time. So like we would get dropped off at the church and our parents were just like, bye, have a good day. And so we would walk down to QFC down the street every day. And I was obsessed with coconut LaCroix because it was like the first time it came out. So I would buy a 6-pack of LaCroix and then walk back with it. And by the end of summer internship that day, my whole entire pack of LaCroix was gone. To say I was addicted is an understatement. I would drink so much LaCroix. How's that?
I think there's so many just great memories from summer internships and student leaderships. Meeting some of my best friends to this day, like through just internships that was just so much fun. I think like one of the biggest memories I have was just like that summer vibe, like Kennedy said, like we would just go like drive somewhere after. Like we would go hang out at
Luke's house.
Yeah, we would go hang out at Luke's house. We would jump in the pool.
Pool parties,
we would play volleyball. Like we had so much fun, and I think that was just like community was the biggest part of that.
And lake jumps after True Life.
Yeah.
There was always the
True
student
Life.
leaders that we would drive to Sunset Park at Lake Stevens and jump into the lake right
At,
after
like,
True
9
Life.
p.m.
And one day there was it was thunder and lightning at the lake. And I didn't know you're not supposed to swim in a lake if it's lightning, like over the lake. Did you know that?
Like, yeah, it sounds like you
No,
could die.
I didn't know that because I thought like there's no way like if the lightning bolt hits the lake, it's not going to shock the whole lake, right? But apparently it could.
Yeah.
So I was swimming and they were like, you need to get out of the water. I've never heard this. I've never.
Oh my
Anyways,
goodness.
who knew? So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that is just like a sneak peek of some of the memories that have happened from student leadership. And so you guys know we're going to be talking a whole lot about what student leadership is going to look like this summer. You guys will be able to have fun times, fun memories like this. But also, guess what? A part of student leadership is we want to be able to give a space for students to be able to speak, have opportunity, grow in their gifts, all of that stuff. So we're going to be connecting and growing as a team, growing in our gifts. Hey, guess what? Some of y'all might get to be up here, being a part of the LAIR as we're doing the podcast, as we have the TL show, making the stuff that we're putting up on YouTube, all of these different things. We want you guys to be a part of that. So if that works for you with student leadership, that'll be great. We're going to be diving deep in the Bible. We have so many things that we are excited for this summer. But all in all, we're just excited about True Life. We're excited about what God's doing in this community and what he has for us in this season at this time. And so with all that stuff being said, I think it's time to wrap it up. I think it's time for us to exit the LAIR. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. Good deal. What?
Time to exit the
Time
LAIR.
to exit the LAIR. I'm just going to like hang in this bit and try to keep it there. All right, everybody. I'm Caleb. This is Jacob, Lexy, and Kennedy. And we just want to say thank you for checking this out. And we will see you guys next time in the LAIR.